Hello, I'm Kevin Anderson, the editor of MDLF's Knowledge Bridge, and I'm here at MDLF's Media Forum 2012 in Jakarta, Indonesia. And I'm joined by Bambang Harymurti, the CEO of Tempo Media here in Indonesia. And we're talking about the digital transition, the primary focus of Knowledge Bridge. And Bambang, you had an excellent analogy about the difficulty in finding the right time, getting the timing right in terms of making the transition.
Yes, because digital, you have to invest in technology, computer, and so on. But you also know that the price of this technology is decreasing while its capacity is increasing. So if you are too early, it's going to be a waste of your money. But if you are too late, then of course you are also in trouble. That's why you have to be just on the right time.
And so how do you recommend to other media leaders of determining that right time, finding that right time?
Well, I think the right time you have to, if you are a media leader, you have to cater both your viewer or your readers and your advertisers. And the reality is the reader and the viewers are much more in advance than the advertisers. So you have to be about in the middle, because if you are too near to your viewer, the advertiser are left behind, you don't have any earning, and that can kill you. But if you are too late, the viewer might leave you. So you have to be in a position where the viewers are not leaving you, but the advertisers are willing to pay the money for you to advertise. And that's, I consider it like surfing. You are waiting for a wave, the right wave. You have to be on the right time so you can surf with the wave and not left behind, or if you are way too ahead, then the wave will not bring you also.
Now you talked about both the viewers and the advertisers. Now some news organizations that MDLF works with, like Malaysia Kini and Malaysia, have actually started working with advertisers to educate them about digital. Do you find that you have to educate advertisers about digital opportunities, sort of explain to them how digital advertising works?
Well, I think that is in the Malaysia Kini context that is very important, but in Indonesian context, it's the other way around. It's actually we have to educate the advertiser about the value of the digital. So we have to be willing to invest a little bit to educate our advertisers, and it's worth to invest. But you also have to know that in digital is going to be your futures. They are going to be a different landscape. So you also have to have the ability to unlearn your old model. And this is sometimes the most difficult part, because you don't want to just put on digital form the print format. This is totally a new culture. And sometimes you even have to have a new kind of people to work on this.
So you've given us a couple of examples. Are there any lessons in that transition in sort of thinking about the new platform? So you started off in television or radio, and then now you've added digital. Any other lessons that you've learned in sort of helping your organization adapt to that new change?
Yeah, I think you have to change the culture, because sometimes the culture is built by the work process you have gone through. And in the work process of printing, you have a certain rhythm. You start with the planning at certain hour of the day, and then so on, and then it come out at certain days or certain hour, and so on, which is now changing completely. So in order to be able to adapt to this, you have to destroy this old habit and create a new one. And this is one of the key points whether you can be successful or not. And this is not easy, I can tell you that. People are not happy to be dragged out of their comfort zone.
Absolutely. Now, when I started as a digital journalist in the mid-90s, it was just a computer on a desk. And now it's a mobile phone, it's a smartphone. And in Indonesia especially, lots of smartphone users. So how have you adapted to that? So you're not just thinking about digital, and even that's not just one platform. It's actually a desktop computer or a laptop or a tablet, and now a smartphone. How have you adapted to that?
Well, we have to adapt to the way people see things or hear or read on the smartphone, which is very small format and so on. So you have to make sure that you adapted your format to fit in. And there are different kind of smartphones, so you have to be able to adapt to all of them. But fortunately, technology is available on the market to do that for you. But the mindset is because what you read in one page in a magazine and what you read in one small screen is a different way. So you have to also try a new way of how to keep people reading more after one screen to the other, instead of from one page to the other or one column to the other. How you do that, and that is another new way to do it, and you have to be able to do it. And I think younger people are usually better at it.
So now, in terms of mobile, you talked about the range of people using them, and you said that even in quite remote areas, people use mobile phones. How do they use them?
Well, in Indonesia they use it mostly for Facebook, and it's mostly young people. But of course, they are going to grow old. They're going to earn more, and they're going to need something more, including reading our media. So we have to cater to that. That's why we have to catch them in the Facebook, because we know they are in the Facebook. We have to catch them in the Twitter, because that's the first thing they do on their internet, and then hoping to get them into our site. And that is the process that you keep. You cannot just read a textbook and do it. This is something that is interactive, because people different and they react it differently. So you have to keep trying which one work and which doesn't. And even the one that work, you have to make sure that they still work, because they also change. Technologies and everything change. We are, drowned out in these changes. So we have to be a very changeable management. Yeah?
Absolutely. Now, talking about advertisers, and again, that's another new challenge that we're facing, is that even as we're still working out how to properly monetize online content, now we've got mobile. How are you finding in Indonesia the ability to monetize that mobile audience?
We have a breakthrough when Apple start to build its iTunes. So then suddenly we found out that we can put our magazine, our newspaper there, and people will click it, pay it, and then we got the money after a while from the site. Of course, they cut 30%, but it's still, for us, it's still better than if we sell it on print. We double actually our margin. But we found out also there are other sites like the Scoop, which is basically the PDF format of the print. In Indonesia, they are still selling better than the Apple, meaning that it seems that people who read digital are still the old people. But I mean, read digital and willing to pay are still the older people. Young people have this mentality, everything on internet is free. So of course this will change. But in the meantime, we just catch the old guy, because they are the one willing to pay, and slowly hoping the younger people will also willing to pay. But otherwise, we use the time also to educate the advertisers that now you are not only getting values because the one you have in our print is being accessed by our reader, but also now there are more people access it because in PDF format it's also available in digital. So trying to convince them that you have increased the value of your placements.
So do you think that on surfing the digital transition, you've got the timing right?
You have to get time right. Maybe we missed the first wave. It's okay, but I think we got the second one right on time, because we also know that the first wave crashed in the end of the day, unless you get out earlier.
So if there's for a lot of MDLF clients, they might be starting the transition. They might be looking for that first wave. What's a piece of advice that you'd give for people earlier on the transition?
Of course, people have their own choice, but I think if you are serious journalist, you are in media for the passions of public service for the people. My choice is that to play this two business model, which is the operating profit and the equity model together. So maybe it's a time we have to think we are no longer the lone eagle, where we probably need partners that has a lot of money that can help us to increase our capability, because we clearly need to change our business. We need investment. But then when they left us because they are maybe a angel fund or something that they can live with reasonable good profit, but left us in a better position in this changing world, because the digital world also give us a very golden opportunity to reach more people in a much faster and cheaper way. And that's of course our dream as a journalist, is to have as much people access our products.
Thank you very much. That's an excellent interview. And if you want to see more interviews, please check out Knowledge Bridge at kbridge.org. Thank you very much.